This is Laura from Africa, aka Rogan Oswine, and in today's video, I want to talk about stop arguing and explain yourself. Be the villain now, Rant. You see, when you were still trying to explain yourself and go out your way to come up with little articulate arguments that people may disagree with, but you try to change their opinion, you're always going to find yourself getting frustrated at the end of the conversation. Because the people that you're talking to, they're not serious. They're not passionate about making things better. They want to continue to make things worse. And we can easily observe this from how people's behaviors have become. So if people don't want to make things better and they just want to drift off in la la land, then why do you take the time to try to explain yourself and argue these fancy talking points that no one really cares to listen to? The only person that you're talking to is yourself when you're arguing with people. And it's just a sad realization when you understand you cannot change anyone. People have already made up their mind about you guys. Like, once someone has already decided that you fit into a certain ideal frame in their mind, they're never going to change that. And you shouldn't even be trying to work towards changing that. You need to accept your role as what you are to that person and live on with your life. Because you cannot change people from seeing you as a villain. It's time to become what people fear the most. It's time to become what people are really worried about. And what is that thing that people are worried about? They're worried about you becoming the villain that lives their life for themselves. So they're worried about you becoming a more independent person thought-wise who doesn't care for their little pitiful explanations or whatever they think about you. You see, once you become like that, you no longer are worried about what happens to other people. That's like right now. If you have always had a rough life and you've never been able to fit in, no one has ever really liked you, your family especially, because that's where it starts. You know, as of right now, you shouldn't care about anything that happens to your family unless they're giving you money, unless there's resources coming in, unless they are supporting you. Other than that, you shouldn't care about what happens or what goes on with them. And the same goes for everyday other people. You should not be concerned what happens to anyone. Because quite frankly, you're wasting your time. These people are just people in the future who are going to betray you. And yes, I said it. These people that you all come across on a daily basis, the everyday person that you interact with, these are just people in the future who are going to turn their backs on you. So once you understand this for how human nature works, you start to look at people as just tools, as objects to get to your objective. And that's how you should be operating. You shouldn't have any sentiment of being loving or caring towards people like that. That should be a very rare thing that is displayed for you. People have to actually prove that they're worthy of that from you. And the problem with most of us is we've given away that affection. We've given away that understanding for free. We've never measured the type of catastrophe that we would go through by being nice. You know, we've always been told if you just mind your business, if you just go along with the rules, you put your head down, you smile when people want you to smile, then everything will be okay. Don't smile when people want you to smile. Don't talk when people want you to talk. Talk when you want to talk. Because once you start to become what other people want you to be, this is when you lose yourself always. And I, for one, I will no longer be doing that. If someone doesn't like what I'm saying, too bad. You're off of here. Get out of here. I don't care what goes on with you. You don't have to care what goes on with me. Go your own separate way. And you can be freaking sure that you cannot show any mercy out here to people emotionally. Because emotionally connecting to people is becoming something that only primates do. Like, imagine that. You yourself right now in 2025 trying to have an emotional and understanding connection with another human being. It's primitive. It's so pathetic when you think about it. And is that sad to say? But look at the reality that you live in now. We now live in a artificial world to where results only matter at the fullest. And if you don't have anything to show for your own good, not for other people, but for your own good, you'll be even more miserable than you can even imagine right now. So quit wasting your time trying to argue and explain yourself to other people. They're never going to understand you. If people understand you, they'll just get it just like that. They'll be connected to you instantaneously. Other than that, if they don't understand and click with what you're saying like that, like a light bulb, get away from them. Get them out of your life immediately and have no social contact with them. Let that person go on with their life. Because it's one less person who is just a traitor waiting to betray you. That's all that person was. So it's time to start being the villain. Be the villain with your family. Be the villain with your peers. Be the villain with everyone. Live on your own terms. Never bow down to anyone. Do what it takes to get ahead. Because a lot of us, we are still hesitant, still living in the past of, okay, what if people say this? Oh, what if this goes wrong with other people around me? You shouldn't be worried about what people think about you or care about what goes on wrong with them. You shouldn't care about it. Because the only thing that should matter right now is you coming out as the victor. And that's all that ever matters. You see, in this world, victory only matters, not truth. In the hindsight of things. Because you see how the society that we live in, you see how it reacts to truth. It's looked down upon. It's looked at as negative. It's looked at as, oh, you don't want to fit in with the herd. You don't want to fit in with the system. You're corrupting everything. The pattern that we have. When in reality, the very social patterns that these people display, they're ugly. They're messed up. They don't contribute to having a good society, a good nuclear family structure. They don't contribute to relationships, friendships. They don't contribute to any of that. Just the same old, boring, superficial, shallow way of life. And if you're tired of living that like that by other people's metrics and standards, then it's time for you to rebel. Become the villain. You know, you shouldn't be worried about what anyone has to say about your actions as long as you're not hurting other people. As long as you aren't doing anything that is putting yourself in serious danger, then everything that you're doing outside of that is fine. Thinking freely for yourself. Feeling only for yourself. No one else should matter in that regard. Because you come into this world alone and you go out of this world alone. And once you start looking at that for what it exactly is, and the deeper meaning that is, you have to look at people as a stepping stone to get you to wherever you want to be in life. Because this is what everyone else has been doing since you've been born, since I've been born. So if you're going to continue to play by systematic and broken rules like an idiot, then go right ahead. They don't care about you. This is why your life is the way it is, because everything good has really been took from you mostly. You can't even go outside without feeling unsafe. You can't even go around other people and feel accepted somewhat. You mean to tell me you want to still do what these people want you to do? You want to fit in? For what? You're never going to get anywhere with them, man. So it shocks me and it bores me to how so many people are just so scared about, oh, my appearance. What are other people going to do to me? You shouldn't be worried about any of that. You know, there's too much on the line at stake with your freedom, with yourself as a person, for you to still be trying to coddle and care about other people who just don't understand you like that. If they are not on the same program as you, from now on, you get rid of that person out of your life, block them. Have nothing to do with them. You know, you can't be playing around and be just in this type of state of blissful ignorance as everyone else is in. Because that's how you get hurt. That's how you get set up for something wrong to happen to you. You always have to be on it. You know, there is no break. There is no calming down. There's always being urgent, being alert, being prepared. You know, I think a lot of us We lack the urgency to really look at life for what it really is right now. And if you are not a person who is able to quickly adapt to everything around you, then you're going to have way much more of a harder time when it comes to actually keeping up with trying to survive. Because this is what everyone wants you to get caught up in. They want you to get caught up in the glorified delusions of going to this concert, obeying this little social law. You know, you have to be how other people want you to be in a conversation. Forget all of that. You know, people either are going to be on your time or they're going to be off your time. And there's no arguing or ifs, ands, or buts about that. You know, become the villain. You know, I could give a crap less about what anyone thinks about me. If you aren't giving me anything, if I can't use you to get my way, I no longer care about you. I don't care how cold it sounds. That's just how this reality works. And you have to assimilate to that. Because if you don't, you're still going to be emotionally hurt. You're going to be the one that's crying at the end of the day and still sulking even more than you are right now about what you don't have. And are you going to be doing that regardless because of how painful and heinous this life can be? Yes, but you should be trying to decrease that suffering. You know, I'm all about decreasing the torment, decreasing the pain. You see other people about increasing your misfortune, your unhappiness. So we have to be really serious about what we want in our lives and not taking crap from anyone. So become the villain. Forget everyone else. Embark on your own path in life. This has been another video. Like and subscribe if you're new. Tell me those you guys want me to elaborate on in the comment section. I highly appreciate it. I'm trying to make videos